Hey guys, let's get more news from Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. JJ Watt considered Steelers' comeback in 2023, nearly unretired. The Pittsburgh Steelers lucked out with a relatively healthy defensive line this season, save for Cam Hayward's groin surgery. But if they needed reinforcements, JJ Watt had his phone on standby. During an interview on the Pat McAfee Show, Watt has been eyeing both the Steelers and the Houston Texans, just in case retirement started feeling a bit too quiet. Yet, despite the whispers, it never went beyond the what-if stage. I definitely was monitoring the Steelers and Texans situations, but it never escalated to any sort of actual potential, Watt said. It would have been an absolute dream come true. To play with my brother would have been great. It's just, realistically, they were all set. They've got great players. A visit to Acrisure Stadium, though, flipped a switch for Watt. Watching his brother TJ gear up for battle, he felt a twinge of longing for the NFL's game day roller coaster. When I went to Pittsburgh and visited TJ and watched him get ready for the game, that was hands down the moment where I was like, this is the first time I definitely miss playing, Watt said. It was halfway through the year. I felt all those emotions before the game, and then the next morning, he woke up all sore, bruised up, has to go get treatment and everything. I popped up, went for a nice walk and had a coffee. It was great. I don't have any of those things. Now, with a full year of retirement under his belt, Watt's absolutely done. I'm 1000% done, or so he says. But if the Steelers come knocking in the offseason, who knows? A little brotherly reunion might just sway him back onto the gridiron. After all, with TJ still rocking it in his prime, the allure of sharing the field might just be too tempting to resist. Najee Harris finishes well ahead of Jaylen Warren Indiana RB rankings. The Pittsburgh Steelers have one of the NFL's best 1-2 backfield duos in Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren. But for Maurice Jones-Drew, there's a clear number 1 and a clear number 2. In the final version of his RB Index ranking the top 72 backs in football, Harris finished well ahead of Warren. Harris came in at the number 12 spot, while Warren finished at number 27. On Harris, Jones-Drew wrote, Harris is the definition of a workhorse back. He gets a ton of carries and wears down the defense, allowing him and his backfield mate, Jaylen Warren, to reap the benefits late in games. Harris registered 1,000 rushing yards for the third straight season and scored a career-high 8 rushing TDs, with 7 of those scores coming in the back half of the season. Though Harris spent the season in a true committee as opposed to the workhorse back he was as a rookie, Harris was as efficient as he's ever been. He ended the year with a career-high 4.1 yards per carry, while his run success rate was also the best it's ever been, ending the year at 48.2%. Harris used the regular season finale to go over the 1,000-yard mark, ending the year with 1,035 yards. He became the first back in Steelers history to rush for 1,000 yards in his first 3 years and the first NFL player to do so since Alfred Morris in 2012 to 2014. Pittsburgh will have to decide whether to pick up Harris' 5th-year option by the May deadline. But it's likely the team will exercise the option, guaranteeing his contract for 2025 before becoming a free agent. Though there was a gap between the two, Warren still cracked the top 30 of Jones-Drew's list. The Steelers were one of the league's top rushing attacks down the stretch. From Week 9 on, they ranked 5th with 145.2 rush yards per game and tied for second with 13 rush TDs. Warren's emergence in the second half of the season played a big role in that success, but he was also an essential piece in the pass game, with his 61 receptions being the second most on the team, behind only George Pickens' 63. A lack of volume may have hurt Warren, who arguably should have finished a little higher on this list. A well-rounded back who can run, block, and catch, he served as a consistent spark plug with burst and power. After making the team as an UDFA in 2022, Warren broke out with 784 yards and 4 rushing touchdowns in 2023. He also finished with 61 receptions, right behind George Pickens for the team lead. Warren's 5.3 yards per carry was one of football's top marks, while his success rate sat just under 50%. Steelers highlighted as potential free agency landing spot for Bengals OT Jonah Williams. Coming off the 2023 season, one thing is very clear for the Pittsburgh Steelers when it comes to their roster moving forward: the offensive line continues to need serious attention from a player acquisition standpoint. Whether that's through the NFL draft, free agency, or even via trade, the Steelers need to continue to address the offensive line. For Pro Football Focus Brad Spielberger, one player the Steelers should pursue in free agency is a player they are quite familiar with: Cincinnati Bengals right tackle Jonah Williams. The Steelers' offseason approach on offense will be truly fascinating after the hiring of Arthur Smith as offensive coordinator, and we never really got a straight answer as to why former starting right tackle Chukwuma Okorafor was banished from the starting lineup. Do the Steelers move 2023 first-round pick tackle Broderick Jones back to left tackle? Spielberger writes. If he stays at right tackle, do they look for an upgrade over Dan Moore Jr., who has allowed one of the highest pressure rates in the NFL 2 years in a row? Our projection may be a bit expensive for a Steelers free agent signing, but we also might be too high with our initial number. Williams flipped from left to right tackle for the 2023 season after the Bengals signed standout Orlando Brown Jr. in free agency. Prior to the 2023 season, Williams had played 2,779 snaps at left tackle, including 1,044 in 2021 and 1,101 snaps in 2022. Then, last season, Williams played 1,087 snaps at right tackle. A move to Pittsburgh would allow Williams to avoid what in actual games, which might help his career some. Sticking in the AFC North might not help though, considering Williams allowed at least one sack in all but one division game last season. Williams is ranked as the number 54 free agent from PFF, and the 5th overall tackle in the free agency class. What makes a Williams fit in Pittsburgh even more unlikely is the projected price tag. PFF projects Williams to sign a 4-year, $64 million deal with $40 million guaranteed, giving him $16 million per year. He'll turn 27 in November, but that's a hefty price tag for a guy coming off a poor season at right tackle. And you fan, what do you think of the Jonah Williams situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.